Happy Halloween, happy Monday, happy Day of the Dead, happy whatever you celebrate. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone's having a great day, and that will be continuing to a great evening. Right up front, I have to be very clear. We're doing a non-traditional show today. I don't have any news prepared per se. This is pure discussion. And after the show here, we're going to hop over and switch to all the Resurrection Toys channels on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, just like we are right now. So basically, if you like to have these nice long discussions, guess what? You're going to get all that plus some trivia stuff and everything else. This is also a shameless ploy to get people over to the Twitch for Resurrection Toys. And if you have not yet subscribed over there, just for following, it's free. Account is free. Even if you never use it, this is going to help us immensely. We are but 20 followers away from being able to monetize that channel in a direct way that will allow people to support Rolo and Marcos directly without spending a dime. So just wanted to go ahead and just say that up front. That's, our main goal here, aside from having a great discussion with you all here. So I do want to catch up with chat here. I see a bunch of folks. Epic Badger has a bunch of great scenarios for us to discuss. I see Gojatron. I see Ian Sweeney and Bill Wifta and Star Fox. What's up, buddy? Bjorn Jorgensen, Kieran Ball, Andy. Hi, Andy. And Jason Garcia. And I think that's everybody. Okay. So the question I'm posing tonight for our Halloween little special here are just like things that kind of spook you about collecting. Not necessarily just toys, but just in general, right? And it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, like you hear about, sticker shock is something. So like you say, oh, this $50 at 500, oh, like that kind of a thing, can be scary. But Badger brings up a few things here. It says, what spooks me is the announcement of a 2 or 3 pack along with the corresponding price increase per figure just because. Yes, so there's been a recent trend with specific companies raising the price of their figures, putting them out into 2 and 3 packs, and then not giving you any benefit of a lower price. In some cases, it's even higher than you would normally pay for a multi-pack, which is just, why would you charge me more for a 3-pack than I would pay individually for those? I don't understand that. It's supposed to be a value proposition, not a money grab, yet they seem to be doing that. Very scary. Epic Badger also talks about this tall shelf of classified figures to my immediate left. I'm just waiting for the right moment to go airborne on my ass. 99% sure I leveled it, but I'm 1% worried I did not. That's a real problem. Whether it's an entire shelf falling on you or anything that's on that shelf, falling to its proverbial doom. And this affects everything from CDs to books to DVDs and Blu-rays, toys, collectibles. The list goes on. There's tons of things that are fragile that we collect, even if they're not, they're not, you can touch them and move them and stuff, but a fall from a big height like that can really do some damage. So that's a legit fear for sure. And of course, I share this one. Badger says, also scared of whatever photos Bjorn sends through Instagram. You know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. And then he also asks if everyone's ever purchased a 6-inch figure only to realize you screwed up and it's in fact not 6 inches, but 11.1. Very specific. So that happened today. That has never happened to me, to my knowledge. Could be related to like a creature feature, like, the Attack of the 11.1 inch action figure. I don't know. Could be something. But it's good to see everybody. Jason Garcia says, thought it was a 112, not realizing you're getting one 12-inch figure. Aha! That may well be what had happened. Bjorn just got done watching Maverick. I love that movie. Hi. One of the better legacy sequel movies. Yes, it definitely was. Better than most of your legacy sequel films, in my opinion. It did the trick of giving you what you loved about the franchise to begin with, and giving you the sequel that maybe you even wanted back then without shortchanging the story headed past. It's a little too neat in some places, but can't have everything we want. And Badger right there giving us the link, twitch.tv/resurrection toys. That's right. And we'll be posting that all over the place at the end of the stream to make sure y'all get over there and check it out. Nolan is here. Hello. Nice to see you. Still at work, but listening in. Appreciate you. Giraffe is here as well. Nice to see you. And Bill Wifton says, hope everyone enjoyed the Halloween special on his channel yesterday. Certainly. Yes. Yes, we did. Jason Garcia says, all those dead plastic doll eyes staring, waiting, judging. I can imagine him talking like that. Ian Sweeney says, what spooks me is the use of the word exclusive in new figure announcements. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. That's primal fear right there. We got World Made of Cardboard here. Hey, John. Good to see you, pal. Nice to see you. Squeal says, did you leave Retropalooza early on Sunday? I came back to buy an egg and you were gone. Oh, man. And you know what the weird part is, Swiggles? That's all I had left to sell. I had one egg left and that was it. I did leave around 2 or 3. It was 3 o'clock, a little bit after that when I actually left. I didn't see any forward momentum on that one egg. I was very tired. I was very sore, and I just checked out, dude. But I will be in Houston, and of course we'll be there next year. And obviously, we have the website and stuff too. But if you need something, let me know. Let me know. Go to Tron says, nightmare scenario. You go to bed one night, wake up in the morning, and all of your action figures have transformed into Funko Pops. That would be horrible. That would be awful, dude. Like, can you imagine? Right? Like, you just open and it's just all these useless pieces of vinyl that have no value inherently. Kieran Ball, on the other hand, says, what scares me the most is plastic-free packaging. That's true, because you never know what terrors await inside. Because if you're at a retail store and you have a box, we don't know if they've reboxed it or what. That's the whole thing. Bill Wifta says, what spooks me right now is getting that whole monster scenes diorama back on the shelf. That's pretty real. That's pretty real. Pierre says, if only a company out there did the opposite of charging more for 3-packs. Yes, I wonder who does that. Robot of Cardboard says, I had the Go Line Voltron fall off a shelf. He was not indestructible. Ugh. I can only imagine. Epic Badger says, more shelf space equals more places for spiders to infringe on my personal space. Yeah, he's not a fan of spiders, so yeah, I kind of get that. Go to Tron. And all form the fractured hip. Not wrong. Wilhelm Toy and Hobby is here. Happy Halloweeny. Happy Halloweeny to you too, sir. Folks, if you're not subscribed to Wilhelm Toy and Hobby, please do so. Same goes for Gojatron. Certainly for World Made of Cardboard and everyone else who engages in content creation here in this space. Really would appreciate that. Boba Hicks is here. What's up? Happy Halloween to you, my friend. We got Aaron over on Twitch saying hello. Hello. Nice to see you, my friend. We'll see you over on Twitch throughout the evening, I am sure. Nice to see you. Swiggle says, I didn't get there until like 5 because I overslept from drinking with Jay the night before. Definitely going to pick up an egg either online or at Houston. Well, perfect. And, there's multiple colors available. As you know, the figures are randomized inside there, so should be good. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I kind of have this thing. It's tradition at this point for me to leave a little early. But when you're running a table like that and you've sold out for the most part, I was like, living a mile away, it's like, I just want to go home. And I did. So sorry you missed out, pal. Didn't mean for that to happen, but maybe drink a little less. Just saying. They tried to rope me in and I was like, I'm leaving. And, he said some very Jay things on my way out of the bar. And I was like, dude, it's already 1:30 in the morning. I don't see this going any better. I'm going home. Fuller's Figure says, clocks went back, so I get to hang a while this evening. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Connor. Appreciate that. Plus, our clocks will be going back here soon, I believe. So you may even get more out of it because we'll be on earlier than we used to. Feels like I started selling my pops. Good idea. Good idea to get rid of them. My opinion. Kieran Ball says, actually, what frightened me the most was moving my entire collection for a new carpet and discovering some of my little plastic treasures had been damaged by shelf life. Now I have to replace them. Giraffe says, plastic-free packaging stinks. I'd rather they remove the plastic weapons from figures for the overall plastic savings than release a weapon pack for each wave in a box with the weapons. I mean, I don't know that I agree with that strategy, but I definitely think that there's other ways to get the plastic back. I don't claim to have a solution there, but I don't think removing the accessories would go well with most people. But I get where you're coming from. I do. Jason Garcia says, nightmare scenario, your family or significant other sells your collection for what you told them you paid for it. Ugh, that's pretty bad. Rollman Cardboard says, what's scary? Total loss of direction with toy companies. Yes, that's a real thing that actually happens. Kieran Ball says, hello, Will, Bo Hicks, and everybody else. Star Fox Ricky is here, says, happy Halloween, in very loud capital letters. Happy Halloween to you too, my friend. Nice to see you over on Twitch. Epic Badger pimping the old Patreon. Appreciate that. Andy says, in high school, I made my Cabbage Patch doll in home economics. They were very popular at the time. The first time my oldest daughter saw it and said her eyes were very creepy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was never a fan of the kind of the dead eyes thing that was going on there. Ugh, craziness. Well, Toy and Hobby says, my biggest fear is that I was hit in the head many years ago and suffered permanent brain damage as a result. I've been collecting corroded cat turds instead of action figures for all these years. I can confirm that that is not the case because we've seen your collection and I have yet to see a cat turd in it. So there you go. Roman Cardboard says, thoroughly enjoyed talking with you at Retropalooza. Really was a great time. I had a great time, and I thank you for taking the time to be there. You know, not just to visit me, but to check it out. That's the only way that this thing grows. And it was nice to have a familiar face that, you know, I've got stories with everybody, and it's always nice to meet someone new, but is not new. So I really enjoyed that. And obviously I would love to see you again as soon as possible. I really enjoyed spending time with you too, pal. Appreciate that. Squiggle says, I was very impressed with the figures and eggs. I spent half what I thought I would, so I had money to burn and wanted to buy from you. Didn't drink with Jay until the hotel after free play. Oh, geez. He was in full swing at that point, man. Eric Epic Badger says, my fear is that viewers forget to hit that like button before the end of the stream. Better be safe and click it now. You're not wrong. And also, a lot of folks are bringing up Retropalooza. I have not prepared anything for the review of Retropalooza. I've got a video on this channel and for Resurrection Toys I need to finish. But that actually has to wait until I get some work stuff done, which is on a deadline, which actually involves shooting video and editing. So, and I've been working pretty much every time I have a free second that I'm not doing something else working on that. It will happen this week. I just don't know when. So don't worry. I have pickups to show you. Not many. But I've got some great recaps to talk to you about and everything in between. So did not intend to take the whole week off, but with my throat not really being better until Thursday, it was like, I'll just do without this week and make sure we come back. So Carol Ball says, well, if you collect NECA, you won't know the difference. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Kieran Ball says, 8 more likes for Grindhead Jim's awesome and scary Halloween costume. Yes, my Faith Extractor shirt is very scary. Yes. John Worldman Cardboard says, my fear is DFW traffic. Driving home, we'll be listening in. Be careful, my friend. And Bjorn, I'm not even going to dignify that comment by bringing it up. Charger Hawk, one of my best friends in the world, says, hey, you. It's really nice to see you. Hope you're doing great. Miss you. I miss you too, pal. This is going to be a Twitch extravaganza because we're doing this show for a little over an hour, and then we're hopping over to the Resurrection Toys channel for a longer stream, which has Halloween trivia, and I'll be co-hosting with Rolo my co-owner of Resurrection Toys, and so we will be on Twitch for a bit, doing some fun stuff, So I hope you can hang, man. It's always good to see you. And I love doing the multi-platform thing because, especially with my history on the other platforms, it's nice to be able to see people that I don't normally get to see. Because there's Twitch people and there's YouTube people, and I'm trying to foster a crossover as much as I can. Because again, over on the Resurrection Toys channel, we only need we need 20 more followers, and then just a couple more streams to hit affiliate. And all that money that comes from that sort of a thing is going straight to support Marcos and Rolo in their endeavors and making sure that they're okay. Because I have a day job and I make enough. I don't need that stuff. And yeah. So so Rolo brings up a good point that we'll discuss in more detail over on the Resurrection Toys stream. But we did release over 36 Lucha Libre figures for sale on Resurrection Toys, along with some very unique collectible stuff. We'll be talking about those on that stream, but you guys said you wanted them. They're over there in live right now. And I appreciate everyone being here. So again, actually, Aussie Rule 777 says, hi, what am I doing right now? Watching Jim on my phone and King Diamond on my TV. Happy Halloween. I don't think it gets much more Halloween than that. Thanks, Jarger. I sure do appreciate that. That's a follow over on the Resurrection Toys channel that I forgot to mute. So it's a thing. It's a thing. Think the new drops are awesome? Cool. Boba says the new Lucha Toys look fantastic. That's because they are, but thank you. Bjorn says, hot tubs and horse mess sound like a decent podcast. I mean, it could happen. Sure. Absolutely. Goodness gracious, so much noise in my face about this stuff, but I appreciate it so much. At any rate, Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures gave us a super sticker. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. That's some Halloween candy right there. Got that. So it's we're all talking about some pretty practical stuff when it comes to fears, and I did mention like one of my big ones is when you go to haggle with someone at a toy shop or at a convention, and like they're not having it, like maybe you misread the room or something, and then you feel like an ass for trying to get a better deal. Like, no, it's this much, and you're like, well, could you work with me here? I'm buying a bunch of stuff, and that's the kind of thing that I legitimately have a little bit of purchasing anxiety about, or people that won't budge when it's not a retail establishment per se, where they are reselling vintage goods or used items, and they have zero wiggle room in environments where it is pretty typical that you're going to have that kind of wiggle room. On one hand, it makes me upset, like it pisses me off, but I worry about being in that situation when I don't expect to be, right? I don't like that. I don't like that feeling because it makes me feel like I'm the bad guy for even trying to procure myself a better deal. But I don't know if any of you have experienced that sort of a thing, but it's new fun. Now, granted, I'm not going to walk into one of these new Toys R Us's or a GameStop or a Walmart and go to the counter and try to haggle. Like, I'm not going to do that. But at a flea market, a convention, or a mom and pop shop where they are selling a used item, yeah, I'm going to try and bundaroo and get a better deal. And some places like those will even let you try to get a better price on even new items if you're buying a bunch of stuff. So, and I feel like it's so kind of not assumed, but it's an inherent part of the culture of collecting, no matter what it is, whether it's toys, video games, comic books, whatever. That when you're selling these things in this way, in those kinds of environments, I don't understand why people don't want to do that. So it's a bit scary for me, Ian Sweeney says that his nightmare scenario is Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher and the showrunners recast a cheaper Baldwin brother. I mean, granted, we get him back as Superman, though, so I think it balances out. I wasn't personally all that impressed with The Witcher, but then again, I'm not a fan of the game either. So, but I understand if people like The Witcher, I can totally understand not being happy with him leaving, let alone the replacement not, being up to par with what you had before. Definitely a thing to worry about for sure. I worry that, like, for example, like I have to store pretty much all my toys, inside of plastic bins at this point. The few that you see stacked or on the shelf, they're going to get deboxed before you know it. Like before Thanksgiving, it's going to happen. And it's something where I worry that I haven't packed them properly, and that when I open the bin, they're going to just be dust. Like in the that scene in the Ark, he opens it up and it's just sand. He's like, huh? Like I'm worried about that. I'm worried that I have done something wrong, or that because I originally packed them in my earlier days of collecting, where maybe I didn't do it as smart, that I may have damaged something inadvertently and didn't realize it. And when I open it, now I have to go on a search to find something. But yet, had I figured this out months before, it would cost me less. And it's definitely a fear. No question about it. Barely is here. Says, happy Halloween, everyone, and much love from Austria. Well, much love right back to Austria. Good to see you here. We'll hope to see you on the follow-up show. Jim Largo with a big super chat says, what's up? Love your furry face. My greatest Halloween fear is running out of rum. That is scary. I have some over there, but I will not be partaking this evening as I need my wits about me. Have one for me, my friend. Thank you again for that. Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that. So, because that's the thing, like, I thought about this stuff, like, this holiday is set up around fear. And a lot of the things that we set up culturally to scare us on purpose, like horror movies and monsters and things like that, I gravitate towards those, but they don't really scare me. I enjoy the ride, okay? So my fears do tend to be these practical things that like you guys are talking about. So I'm glad that you guys are right there with me. And speaking of, Burley says, "Oh no, to run out of rum is a nightmare." It is. It is. I always have whiskey to back it up, but I gotta say, I like me some rum. I like me some rum, and when I'm in the mood for some, not much else will do. I'm not gonna sit there and say nothing else will do. I'm not that picky. But if I'm really in the mood, that's what I want, and that's what I intend to have. So if I run out of it, I'm in trouble. Jim, it's nice to see you all in chat too. It's nice to see you, pal. Connor's scared of going to IKEA. Who can blame him? All Hallows Eve. Yeah, I don't subscribe to like the greeting card thing, but we've come to call it Halloween as opposed to All Hallows Eve. All of these things are valid. Certainly the Day of the Dead celebration as well has an even deeper tradition. Don't mean to diminish any of that stuff. Ian Sweeney says, I watched that Chasing 80s video of Scuba unboxing and putting together Eternia. Made me ponder if I would be too scared to actually own one of the vintage Grail playsets. Yeah, I get that. Like, it's something I worry about, especially with the Grail ones. Whether it's your Black Star, Crystal Castle, or Eternia is a good example. Any of that stuff that's really high dollar, the Well of Souls, for example, I would just be mortified to break something. Absolutely mortified. And that's why I often will praise Mattel's manufacturing techniques for like Grayskull, which I hope they will carry into Eternia and Snake Mountain, where it's a bit more flexible and it may stand the test of time a little better, but time will tell. Go to Tron says trick-or-treaters starting to come around in his area. Fun times. Yeah, about IKEA being scary. It's like, yeah, you get home and you still have work to do. Giraffe says, trick or treats. Trick or treaters, vile scum, come to take some of my candy stash. Kids are evil. I mean, some are. Some are. And we definitely have a lot of treats prepared for the Halloween show. That is correct, which is coming up here in an hour. So I hope that you're ready for that kind of fun stuff. So the way it'll go is when we're finished with our discussion here, we're going to hop over onto that channel. I may take a 5 to 10 minute break just to make sure that I'm ready to go. But basically, I'll intend for you guys to hop over there. And I will ask that even though we're simulcasting this, that you do go to the Twitch channel and take a few minutes while I'm taking my break to create a free account and hit the follow button. It will go a long way to helping us out. And so I thank you in advance. And even if you can't stay for the stream, when I post that link at the end of this discussion, I ask you, please do that. I normally don't ask for those kind of things. I tend not to really like, subscribe, and follow. But when it comes to this Twitch channel, it really is going to help. On top of that, Rollo's been doing some really great exclusive content over there. He has these nice chill discussions. Last night he was playing some arcade games and talking things through. So you get to see a side of things you wouldn't normally. And we're going to get to a point where we have Marcos on there doing sculpting and when we can answer questions while you watch him work. Some really interesting things you are just not going to get on the YouTube channel. And it offers a kind of live interaction you just aren't going to get anywhere else. Even though on YouTube there are some possibilities, I really enjoy the Twitch platform. There are a lot of folks that prefer it, so we want to try and give a little bit of both. So everyone gets a Saturday show, but then Twitch gets something a little bit different. So, Giraffe says, I did make a super scary jack-o'-lantern, so hopefully it keeps the kids scared off. Fair enough. Definitely understand that. Where I live, trick-or-treating is next to impossible because, as you guys know, I live in a hotel. So even though we have exterior doors, it just people don't think to come here for trick-or-treating. It did happen once. In 3 years, it's happened once. But, you know, granted, there's only been 2 Halloweens. I guess this would be the 3rd Halloween now that I think about it. It only happened once. I think it was in 2020. And I did happen to have a full-size candy bar. I'm like, hang on. Game of candy bar. The only thing I would have to hand out now if they came by would be bricks of ramen. Because I threw a screw up of my Instacart driver. I ended up with like 20 bricks of ramen instead of what I actually ordered. Which, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, good doomsday food if I really need it. But to be honest, not a big deal if they come by. So, Bjorn's putting out the old challenge. I'm ordering both versions of Bengala as we speak. Awesome possum. Appreciate that. Get you them Lucha Libres. And Aaron loves the interaction with our customers. A lot of fun. Well, Aaron, to be fair, this is my personal channel where I've been doing toy collecting stuff for a long time now. So although a lot of people here are customers, and yeah, we're alluding to the Resurrection toy stuff, I'm just here to talk. The official Resurrection toy stuff comes here in less than an hour, so be ready. I mean, a friend of mine, when I was joking about this the other night at a Halloween party, she kind of corrected me and said, there are some kids that would prefer that because maybe, their parents won't buy them ramen or they really do need the food or something. It got a little dark, but it's possible there'd be someone that would find that preferable for sure. And Rolo says, I did send some Mexican candy to my friend Barely for Halloween. That means the kids will still come this year, but they won't come back ever. Fair enough. So, again, we talk about these things that are fearful. I worry about, things falling apart or not being able to find pieces that I'm looking for. I worry about people. As weird as it sounds, I worry about people getting mad about collecting for no good reason. There's plenty of good reasons to be upset about some of the things happening in modern collecting for sure. But then every so often you'll see just this random asshole tweet something on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, just saying how like they don't understand collecting and they think it's stupid and this and that. It's like, well, whatever you do, I don't care what you do. Why do you care what I do? So like I often, because it brings back growing up in the 70s and 80s when being perceived as young at heart or too old for toys or being a nerd into certain things, being a geek, all this stuff was caused to get you physically beaten up. And that's something that never really leaves you, I don't think. Um, and when I hear that stuff, does it make me feel like an 8-year-old kid again? No, it does not. But it does make me remember that people haven't really evolved as much as we like to think that they have. Um, People do not really understand what live and let live really means, in my opinion, and that we have a long way to go. But that said, I would say that people that are into collecting and pop culture and all these things are in a much better place than we were even 20 years ago. I'll let Rolo answer that because I don't know what art figures taste like. I have never put one in my mouth. I don't plan to. Steven is here. Welcome, Steven. Says, I'm ordering Chinese food tonight and staying in, watching my VHS of Halloween, and now I'm here. That is pretty awesome. Thank you, my friend. Socks from Twitch asks what I like to collect. I personally collect VHS, Laserdisc, Blu-ray, DVD, video games from all generations, all the way back to the Odyssey. Up to now, I collect toys and I collect posters and dust. Pretty much anything that a self-respecting pop culture is, fan of the 80s and beyond could. I hope that answers your question. What do you like to collect? Bill Wood says, Twitter people scare me. TikTok people scare me worse. I don't blame you. TikTok is a weird hellscape, in my opinion. Johnny Sorensen, who is, of course, down in the Australian, New Zealand area of the world, says, Happy Halloween from the future. It's the 1st of November here. It's all over. Haha. That's a good point. And he says that World Med Cardboard and their youngest daughter carved up a Godzilla in a pumpkin for their 2nd grade project. What? I want pictures. Send them to me. I want that. Giraffe says, need to keep toy collecting non-toxic, one of the last places of a happy community for the most part. I would go so far as to say, if you look at any community of collecting, any of them, including toys, you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it, right? I prefer to surround myself with people that are positive and just weed out the undesirables. Video games are definitely like that, but there's a lot of great people in video game collecting. Same with films and everything else. But movie collecting, there are even some jerkwads out there. You don't have the perfect scan lines. Oh, it's dumb. Drives me up a wall. But it does happen everywhere. Aaron says, I'm not going to lie, I'm a 47-year-old man that still goes pew-pew with my toys. See, when I was a kid, I was always, the sound effects were in my head for the most part, because I knew the ones in my head were accurate to the cartoons and the movies and stuff like that. But I would go pew-pew occasionally and like all that kind of stuff when I was with my friends. But when I was playing with toys and having the stories and all that stuff in my head, that was always fun too. So it's a whole thing. Barely says it's 11:30 p.m. here in Austria, so Halloween's over soon. Fair enough. Bill with a very good point that also brings up a spooky thing. There's a fine line between being a collector and a hoarder. And there's certainly some fear around, what happen. What if you start hoarding, don't realize you're hoarding, and then come back online one day and realize you're surrounded by combustible things that are essentially junk. And yeah, it's a really, it's a very fine line. And I will say that if I did not have really strong ideas about displaying the things that I have, and have had those kinds of feelings about every collection I've ever had and still do to this day, I'd be a lot more worried about becoming a hoarder. But the fact of the matter is, I love things for them to be organized and in their placed and looking a certain way. So I'm lucky there. But the people that just buy a box of things from a yard sale, don't ever organize them, just put them on a stack of another box, those kinds of folks, but that never resell or never organize or anything like that scares me a lot. Johnny's picking up what I'm putting down. He says, "You don't have the Criterion collection of the deleted scenes of a lost project that directed that nobody remembers or care about?" Yeah, it's exactly what I'm thinking. Exactly what I'm thinking. Drives me up a wall. Elitists in any of these cultures. It's like, look, man, I'm glad you have a sealed set of whatever, or you have this movie or this version of this cut of this and that, or this video game, whatever. I'm glad if you have those or you're after those. I'm glad that you have a passion for it, but my collection of whatever it is should never be reflected in your collection and vice versa. Like how I do things is different than how you do things. And everyone's right. As long as you're happy and you're not hurting anyone else in life, generally speaking, that's good. There could be a deeper discussion there about culture in general. But generally speaking, we're talking about collecting. If you're happy and you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, no problem. I think that's all that matters. It's all that matters. I will try to translate this, Badger. Click the like button. There you go. Melvor says, it's Halloween. I'm scared. And you should be. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Jim Miller says, margarita time? I would definitely take a margarita right now. I definitely will take a margarita. Barely will take a margarita or two. I get you. Ian Sweeney says, here's a nightmare scenario that happened today. Seeing an unknown YouTube channel appearing in my followed channels list, then finding out an unexpected name change. Yeah, that stuff's weird to me, man. I think that and this happens on Twitch all the time as well. And I really feel like the platform should notify you when someone changes their branding. Not because you should have to keep track of that sort of thing. People can do what they want. But so you don't accidentally unfollow someone you legitimately want to follow. I think that would be very helpful. It'd be very helpful. I'm glad that I got it right for you. Rolando Flores is here. Steven says I should have put a candy vending machine outside my door. Hey, I have bills to pay. It's a good idea. I like that. Aaron says, who here keeps toys in the box? 50-50. Transformers got to come out. I think everyone's different there. I do like displaying some things in the box, but part of the reason that they're displayed that way at this point is I don't really, as soon as I take them out, they're going to go in the bin. That's the problem. So I rotate the figures that I show in the box. I have to actually move some of those out here soon. Generally speaking, I don't like keeping things in boxes. I don't. I like keeping them loose. But if someone likes to keep things boxed, hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. There are some boxes where I don't think the artwork is particularly good, but for some reason, I just like the way they look in their box. Like G.I. Joe Classifieds and Action Force. I love the way they look in their boxes. The boxes aren't anything super spectacularly special, but they look nice. But I would still rather have them out of the box. But those are harder for me to depackage because of how nice they are. It's a whole thing. I had a buddy of mine collected horror figures, and he would buy two of everything, one to unbox and one to keep in the box. But he would still keep the original box of the stuff he unboxed flattened in. So we had like these boxes and bins of flattened boxes. like all of them. Like I can understand keeping card backs, maybe keeping the outer box, something like that. It's a whole thing. Bill Wifta says, so I'm not hurting anyone and I'm happy in my vast hoard. So according to Jim, it's okay that I'm a hoarder. I don't think you are. I think you're a man that struggles with the space that he has for the things that he has. I think that's all it boils down to. I think we all have that problem to a certain degree. Okay. Doesn't mean you're in the middle of reorganizing stuff anyway. When you're finished with that room reorganization and you've re-put everything where you want to put it and restored stuff, after you've done that, if you still like a hoarder, let's talk. We'll figure out what's going on. Epic Badger says, I want my figures unboxed. I want to go pew pew and smash and throwing them around. Nothing wrong with that. Ian Sweetie says, I have previously left accessories in the box sometimes. I could see that, depending upon what it is. I mean, as long as you keep the box, like if you're going to keep the box anyway, doesn't hurt anybody. Stephen S. says, I will admit that the Origins figures are addicting to collect, being 50 now and have memories. I understand. Believe me, you know I understand that. Dun, 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 dun. Ian Sweeney says, not figures, though. Those get unpacked every time. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Johnny Sorensen, always with that little odd take from the future, says, I like to take 50% of a toy out, thus ruining it forever. That's a real nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, yeah. Yeah, space is always going to be a problem because let's say that you don't collect a large amount of stuff, right? Or you're not even a collector per se, right? So just think about it like this. You have your home, you have your decorations where you want them, you have things looking the way you like. But when you bring something home, whether it's a collectible or not, whether you choose to display it or not, you have to find a place to put the new thing, whatever it is. So I don't think this is exclusively a collection problem. It just so happens that we focus on it because it is a very distinctly immediate problem for collectors. Giraffe says, only box toys I have are the Motu Origins line. It's a good one to have boxed, but only because I want them covering an entire wall in the future. Collect a few doubles of favorites to pop out. Again, I don't see an issue with it. You're using them as an art display piece. If I had any real love for the reaction figures and if they had a better price point, I might consider doing that with some of those. But, with the Origins being the right size, and I have distinct memories of seeing a wall of them at a Children's Palace or a Toys R Us, it's something I did consider. I did a really short video a few months back because I do save all of my card backs from Origins. And something I'm probably going to do is create a pegboard and just put all the card backs, and not just Motu Origins, but every card back that I keep on the wall. So you can just kind of go through them at your leisure kind of thing. Because I like that idea. Epic Badger has a customizing question. Does Leatherneck wear the same cap as Sergeant Slaughter? He does not. They're very different hats. Leatherneck it's kind of a crushed hat. Okay, so it's an uneven. It's not a cowboy hat. It's not a campaign cover. It's somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like a bayou hat, almost like a fishing hat with a wider brim. It's not the same thing. It's not. Sorry. Think I know where you're going with that. It would still be interesting to see. Karen Ball says, I always buy multiples to keep mint on card and in box, all to set them free. Again, depending upon what you're collecting, I think it's a great idea. As long as you don't run out of space to keep things. As I get closer and closer and looking at places to move, the one thing I look at the most are the size of where walls are, so that wherever I go, I can pick the room with the longest wall behind me for display purposes, for videos and everything else. And also closet space. So what I'm finding is that, if I just get an apartment in the spring, which is the most likely prospect at this point, it'll be a 2-bedroom, nothing crazy big, but I'll take the smaller bedroom for sleeping because that's all that's happening there. I'm sleeping and other things. But the master bedroom being the larger room makes the most sense because if it does have an ensuite bathroom, that's where I'm going to be the most time that I need to use the bathroom in a hurry, as opposed to the middle of the night. So having the bathroom there is great. Have my own little bathroom there. And then they usually have the big walk-in closet, which is where you'd want to keep any excess toys. And a lot of them have storage off of the patio. That's probably where I keep my drums and stuff like that. But I've been thinking about all these things moving into that and being practical, because I don't want to have a storage unit anymore. I am sick of storage units. I want to get all my stuff. I want to downsize the stuff that I don't need, and the rest is going to be on shelves for the most part. Very few things won't go on the shelf if I have anything to say about it. I got to figure out how that's going to work, but that's kind of the plan. Ian Tweet says, customizing question from a budding customizer. Is there a better type, not brand, of paint for painting modern plastic figures with? The short answer on that, Ian, is that it depends upon the type of plastic you are painting. So different types of plastic have different paints that tend to work with, right? Acrylic paint is something that I like for a lot of things. The folks that do a lot of painting will probably tell you different materials and different paint styles. So it really comes down to what kind of figure are you trying to paint, what kind of plastic is it made out of, based upon that, and also the finish you're looking for. All of those things will inform what kind of paint you should use for that particular usage case. Okay, it's not a simple answer, unfortunately. There are some folks that only use acrylic paint, but they're also typically only painting one type of figure. So I do think that there's room for that question to be answered, and I'm not the guy to answer it definitively, but I want to at least plant that in your head there as well. World Made of Cardboard says when his daughter was 5 or 6, young started to realize scary TV shows, haunted houses, and movies were not real. She just knew they were actors. Scary movies and haunted houses no longer scare her. Yeah, that's kind of how my brain went. I kind of had that switch happen around probably 9 or 10, because I didn't get to watch a lot of it. And then I got to watch it, and at first it scared me, and then I stopped for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't real. So I'll let it give me a little bit of adrenaline, but I'm not like going to be upset about it, Go to Tron with the question of the day, asking Jim Largo if he's having fun with his new Xenozillas. Jim had bought a couple of our troop packs, and he's got like 6 or 7 Xenozillas up against one lonely Predacon, and then he has some Dino Riders from the egg sets, and he's got this whole thing going on. It's beautiful to see. Thank you for posting the pictures, man. It really brightened my day when I saw that. I do hope you're having fun. Bill says the toys are suffocating in their packages. They must be set free so they breathe. Also, toys desire to be played with. It's their reason for existence. I can't argue with that. Roman of Cardboard says, I'm still driving home. Who left a rake in the middle of the road? Someone who desperately wanted to pick up some leaves, but is now even more desperate. Aaron says, I'm so sad. I ran out of space, but keep buying. I have a problem. The problem is you don't have enough space. I think that's the problem. Dun, 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 dun. Bjorn Jorgensen with a Resurrection Toys question, asking which color option is the MIB Predacon. Okay, so if you remember way back when we launched 2 months ago, you'll want to look at the video, like the trailer. So if you look at the trailer that we released, which has footage from Monster Island Buddies, aka MIB, those are the colors. So the Predacon that most looks like the Predator with fur, basically. That's your MIB Predacon. Then the Xenozilla has like a blue-black that looks the most like a Xenomorph, and that is the paint job. If you want good HD, look at those. Easiest place is the MIB video that is embedded in the listing there to see if that's the color you want. Karen Ball says, I also buy custom plastic display cases for the Mint on Card toys, then put them away in plastic tubs and only display the loose figures. Calms my OCD to know that I have Mint ones stored away. I can understand that too. Epic Badger says, for classified Marvel Legends figures, I just use acrylic. Then I add an acrylic resin varnish. A clear coat of acrylic resin varnish. It's a good idea. Ian Sweeney asking about 3.75-inch modern Star Wars figures. I think the answer would be the same, because it is they're using essentially the same kind of plastic, and it is from the same company. So I think Badger's answer would still apply at that point. If anyone has a different piece of advice, please put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Ted Millich is here. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Stephen S. misses all the old Halloween cartoon specials on TV like Bugs Bunny, Fat Hour, etc., etc., etc. I do too. I really miss the event TV thing in general. Like, I miss giving a shit about television. I really do. Because when I have everything at my fingertips, nothing is special anymore, I find. Although last night I had one of those weird situations where I was really excited to find something. There's a movie that came out in 2007 or 8 that was called Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat. And it was it's an anthology film that is a closed loop story. Very cool. And I now understand why people kept telling me to watch this. I fell in love. I'm not going to spoil any of it, except to say that there's nothing set up that is not paid off. If you have not seen that and you like those 80s style horror flicks, check it out. It is a great movie to watch. And you don't have to do it tonight because you can have a horror movie any day of the week you want. Doesn't matter. You say I haven't uploaded the what Smoochie short? No, I said I would do it tomorrow. We're promoting our streams today, and then tomorrow, when I have no content to push, put up the short tomorrow. That's why I'm doing it. I didn't forget. Promise. Didn't forget. Just waiting to do it. No worries, Bjorn. I thank you for asking rather than ordering something and not being sure what it was. I would rather you do ask and wait for the answer than not get something that you want, pal. Really, truly. Ted Miller says Werewolf by Night's pretty good on Disney Plus. I haven't watched it yet. Stephen has and loves Trick or Treat. Good. Gotatron says, I hate that Apple bought all the peanut specials to put behind a paywall. Sounds like something Apple would do. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. I miss all the Garfield specials. I was always a big fan of Garfield. Obviously, the peanut stuff was pretty good. But just specials in general, man. Like the Rankin Bass stuff I always dug. So, starting even as early as like the mid 2000s, I just would make a playlist of stuff that I wanted to watch. And I would just watch it. I have some of my earliest Facebook posts were actually me saying on like around Christmas time that, here's the stuff I'm watching. And I would just kind of live tweet about it before there was Twitter. It was fun. I enjoyed doing that stuff. But this was also at a time when my job was playing music and this was our off season. So I just was there all day. It was fun. Sorry, I drink some water. But I remember as a kid, waiting for those TV shows to come on and, begging my folks to let me use the TV. And then we eventually got extra TVs in the house and stuff like that. I had one in my room. And I could watch whatever I wanted. So I would check the TV guide and find out when they were showing and make it a point to watch them. And even when we had a VCR, I don't think I ever recorded those specials. We recorded the Christmas ones for my sister because she's a huge Rankin Bass fan. And we eventually bought her videotapes of those shows. But when it comes to all the other holidays, and particularly the Halloween ones, which I liked, I don't think I ever even wanted them to be recorded because the event nature of them made it compelling TV, and I was just happy to watch them when they came up, not realizing that that someday that wouldn't be a thing. So, Wilhelm, what'd you miss? Not a lot, but you're going to be just in time for us to carry over to Resurrection Toys here in a little bit. Yeah, the Garfield one was a little scary as a kid. It was. Gojatron says, I have the entire Rankin Bass holiday library and physical media. Screw the streaming services. I don't blame you one bit. And Bill Wifta also has those on physical media. I have some of them. Gojatron with a great suggestion. Fuse your Resurrection Toys product, Kaiju Bumble. Bumbles bounce. Not a bad idea. An abominable snowman in general makes a lot of sense to me. So I will put that on the list. But But I'm so grateful to you guys for being here. Um, I just want to remind you when this show is over, which will be in the next 10 to 20 minutes, um, we're going to hop over to the Resurrection Toys Twitch channel and check things out there. Again, I realize most of you are not Twitch users. All I'm asking for this tonight, this special, to go over there, check it out, create an account, and hit the follow button. Even if you never use the service again, it will help us grow. I really appreciate that. You might find that you like the interface a little bit because we do have some stuff going on that channel that we will not put on YouTube. Long form streaming that it works better on Twitch. So I hope that you will join us over there tonight. Melvor says that Billy said they're supposed to be coming out with 4K versions of those Rankin Bass movies this year. I had heard tell of such things, but I have not seen a pre-order link anywhere. And if they do make that happen, I will definitely pick those up because I don't have them. And I know my sister will probably pick them up. And I'll probably conspire with her husband to make sure she gets them for Christmas because that would be the best. And Bill Wifta says, one of my biggest fears is that Jim isn't drinking enough water or that he's trying to hydrate with beer. No, sir. This is water. I am doing okay. Badger has to leave because he needs to take the dog for a walk. So I appreciate that he is here even if he has to leave. Little piece of health news. A lot of you probably already know this because we're friends on Facebook or you follow me on Twitter. But I am officially at the lowest weight I've been since I started losing weight. I decided to start losing weight in 2020. And I am less than 10 pounds away from my biggest initial weight goal. And I'm extremely excited by this. It feels really good, and it vindicates a lot of my decisions I've been making in the last few months as far as trying to look after my health a little better. And each pound lost brings me that much closer to being able to push myself physically with exercise and not just losing the weight, but getting stronger and being more comfortable in my own body, which is the ultimate goal. I'm not trying to hit a specific weight per se, although I do have those goals in my head. I am more concerned with being healthier, feeling better, and sustaining it. And so I'm starting to see some real positive changes. And I see a lot of folks saying some nice things in chat, and I do appreciate that. Bjorn Jorgensen says, just completed my first Resurrection Toys order. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. I know you've been kind of chomping at the bit to do that, but you never had to. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for ordering those. I look forward to seeing that order in between streams here, but thank you, man. That's great. And Bill says, yay. Aaron says, congratulations. Thank you. Ian Speed says, been a long day, so I'm off for the night. Have followed on Twitch as requested. Peace all. Appreciate that, Ian. It means a lot. Charger Hawk with positive vibes. Thank you, my friend. Melvor also with positive vibes. Kieran Ball also says congratulations and adds that I do look healthier. I like to think so. Now, part of that, undoubtedly, is the fact that I did get a haircut this past weekend. My hair is still here, but a little bit of split ends have been cut off, and this is under control. So I'm going to be honest, some of that does contribute, I guarantee you, to the pallor and so forth, okay? But I feel healthier. I got on the scale this morning. I was like, really? And then I got off and double-checked to make sure it was calibrated, got on it again. I'm like, all right, cool. So I feel quite good. Jason Garcia says, I could stand to lose some weight too. Back would appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I totally get it. Bill says, come work with me on my job. Guarantee you'll be back in shape. You're not wrong. I did used to do that type of stuff back in the day, and it was pretty good. And it's something where I wouldn't mind doing that type of stuff. My body just can't handle it right now. Like, I physically can't. It's hard enough for me just to walk without pain between my back and my hip and stuff. But that's the whole point of this losing weight stuff, is so I can get into shape, so that's not a problem anymore. Bjorn asks if there's a place where he could order bigger shirts. Yes, I will private message you that later. We are working on that with the bulk of the shirts, but we don't have the larger shirts on hand just yet. But we do have a place where if you really want a shirt, we can get you one. No problem. Steven says, congratulations on the haircut and the weight loss. Well, thank you. I mean, the haircut, I mean, I know it was long overdue, folks, but I wouldn't call it an accomplishment. It got to a point with my hair where it was like, I want to let it grow as far as it can before I can't handle it anymore to see if I do want to go with the whole head of hair. Definitely don't want to do that. My hair's too thick. The stylist agreed, yeah, you really don't want to do that because it's going to be very difficult to maintain. And she did remark that there's plenty of hair here. It's plenty healthy. Better to keep this trimmed like I had a part or something like that. Because I did say that, like, the undershave, it was something I wanted to do. I did it. I liked it, but I'm 45 years old. I'm not 25. And it's also such a trendy cut now. I said, let's do this. This makes more sense. And this looks more, in my opinion, like me. So maybe it is an accomplishment. Thanks anyway, my friend. Did get it together like his big brother Bob. Ted Milich went from 320 down to 195, gained it all back over the last 10 years. So if you last 10 years or so need to get it back, great job. When it comes to that, I've had like this weird slingshot or roller coaster effect. So like when I went in the Marines, I weighed about 213 pounds, came out of boot camp at 165, and then stayed right around 180 to 185 the majority of my time in the Marines. And then went back up a little bit over 250, which really I think is where I'm healthiest. 250 with muscles, I'm pretty good. Went up as high as 380 and then came back down after I switched to vegetarianism and was probably sitting in the realm of 260 or 270 or lower, to be honest, at that time. And that was when I was healthiest. Then again, fluctuating in there for the next few years, then slowly gained a little bit of weight here and there over the last several years. But the pandemic really screwed me up. So I need to get back to a place where I'm at least relatively healthy. I don't mind being overweight. That doesn't bother me in general. As long as I can move around and do stuff, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. But I'm having problems moving around, and it is going to affect my health. So I need to fix it. But it can be done. It can be done. Bjorn, of course, asking the superlative question of if I got one haircut or all of them. Pretty much all of them. Pretty much all of them. Because I don't think every single hair in my ponytail was cut, but most of them. Go to Tron says, if I win that $1 billion Powerball jackpot, I'll buy a second Kraken. Fair enough. I tell you what, if I win it, I'll buy you a second Kraken. How about that? Bill Whitton says, getting Jim out of the house is an accomplishment. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Brick Something is here and says, happy Halloween to everyone. Right back at you, sir. Right back at you. In about 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to be switching over to that Resurrection Toys special with Rolo. So I hope that those of you that will stick around and just hang out with us. We've got some cool things coming. We're going to begin the process of a giveaway, which technically already begun the second any of you bought orders from us. So the idea is that we want our customers and supporters to be given something back. Okay? So anyone that has purchased a Resurrection toy since the beginning will be automatically entered in this giveaway contest. Now, well, how do we make that more fair for the people that are participating in live streams and so forth? Well, I'll tell you. For every order you place, each one is one ticket, each separate order. Okay. In addition, we have a trivia game coming up tonight on the Resurrection Toys Twitch channel, where if you get things right and you win, you get X amount more tickets. We have a couple other things along the way to give you some more chances at more entries into the raffle, as well as if you tip during the live stream, you will, of course, be given more tickets in the raffle. And I will include the super chats and super stickers that we've already received in this stream as well. So everyone gets some chances. So if you bought one toy one time and did nothing else, you have a ticket in the raffle. If you did 2 separate orders, 2 tickets, and then with tips, you get tickets and things like that. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and we're going to continue that raffle all the way through the end of Day of the Dead. We have a special Day of the Dead show that's coming up on the 3rd as well, and we'll continue those qualifications through then. Once we've got everything, I'll pull everyone's name into a hopper and spin her around and figure out who gets the free stuff. So you'll get a toy and a t-shirt and a hat if you win. So participation will yield you results. I'm telling you. Also, Sergeant Slaughterhouse is here. Welcome, sir. As well as Logic Blaster. Good to see you as well, my friend. Brick says, is it only streaming on Twitch or on here too? We're streaming both for visibility. However, we strongly ask you to at least create a Twitch account and follow that channel. Because once we hit 50 followers, which we're only 20 from, we can enable monetization, which can passively give some more income for Rolo and for Marcos. Okay, so that's what we're asking for. Once you've done that, watch wherever you want to watch, my friend. But I do ask if you would be so kind as to do that. And we will be posting that link here in just a few short moments when we are ready to switch over. That way everyone has a chance to make that happen, okay? And thank you, Brick. I appreciate that. Bill Wifton says, speaking of Twitch, I put the app on my TV, but I don't think it interacts with my phone like YouTube does. It does not. It doesn't interact the same way. However, because of the way that Twitch does work on the mobile app, you can make it so that the phone only has the chat on it. So you can watch on the TV and chat on your phone. I do find that to be an enjoyable experience most of the time. So it is good. And Jim Largo, sounding a little epic badger, says, you know what's really scary? Not smashing the like button. And you know what? That would scare me too if you didn't smash that like button. Smash it so hard that it smashes you back. I don't even know what that means. Don't ask, because I don't know the answer. But our topic tonight has been scary things in collecting. We've talked about running out of space, worrying about becoming a hoarder, awkward haggling situations, price hikes, really, horrible corporate business tactics and shit like that. But as we begin to go towards the wrap up here, is there anything else that you guys that you can think about collecting in general? And again, it's not just toys that scares you, that is spooky or creepy. I say hello back to Paula, Mr. Bill Wifton, sir. Hello, Paula. Giraffe says to smash the like before it smashes you. I mean, if you smash each other, it could be a good time. Just saying. I'm just saying. There's a real fear that we have hinted at. It's the fear of missing out. That's the big one. It literally has fear in the title and the acronym. We are afraid of missing an opportunity to get something that we want. Whether it's seeing something vintage that we never see, and regardless of price, picking it up out of fear of never seeing it again and missing out on having that item. There's FOMO that is created from things like crowdfunding, like in the case of Mattel Creations Eternia or the Cobra Hiss tank, or even the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider that's happening. Because although I have no interest in the mainstay item, the figures that are bonuses for that offering are things I would love to have in my collection. I'm a big Mephisto fan. I'm really pissed off I'm not going to get them. And my secret hope is that someone that buys that set doesn't want Mephisto and I can buy him off of him at a decent price. I doubt that will ever happen, but I can dream. Logic Blaster says dust is my biggest nightmare. I don't blame you. Dust is a big problem. Bjorn says that sometimes the glow-in-the-dark figures scare a bit. I can understand that, because if you're in the middle of the night, you wake up, you're not really fully conscious thinking about things. It's crazy. Giraffe says, going to my first toy fair this weekend. Not sure if I'm scared. A little nervous. Close enough. What I will say, when you're going to toy fairs, those tend to be slightly smaller than a full-blown convention. So they're a bit cozy. Um, if you're scared of spending too much or you're not sure what to say, I mean, I'll give you kind of a rundown of what I would expect. When you go there, the best thing to do, your wallet is scared. Okay, fair enough. Best thing you can do is walk around, get an idea of everything that's there. Then I want you to stop when you get to the edge, give yourself at least 10 seconds, and then walk back around in the opposite direction. And there's a few reasons for this. Melvor backed me up on this. The second time that you walk through, you're going to see things you didn't see before. And reversing your direction forces you to look in places you didn't look before. Then maybe even do it one more time before you walk up to any table and ask any questions, or even begin to haggle about price. The exception to that would be something where you see something super rare at a super great price. If you see it and you want it and it's something you're actively looking for and the price is right, by all means, stop and look at it. But if nothing in particular catches your eye that's super out there, take that 3-pass rule and it'll give you a better idea of what you're looking at. And then take the time to talk to these people, not just about what you want to buy, but just in general. Take the time to build a small relationship with them and get an idea of how they work and how you work. And then when you decide to get something, always do your best to try and bundle things together so you can get a bulk deal on everything. That might knock, $10-$30 off if you're buying a lot of stuff. It's just the nature of haggling. But that's what I would do, especially if your wallet's in trouble. Try to find the person that has the most stuff you want and start there. Okay. Brick Something says, my fear of current and future generation will continue to lose an interest in action figures as a play pattern, the horror. I share that fear. Though at Retropalooza, that fear was abated quite a bit with lots of children asking to play with our toys. So it's good. It's good. Aaron says, my philosophy is this. If you see it, buy it. I think it's a sickness. FOMO is real. Facts. All true. That's very impulsive, but I understand it. Believe me. Jim Largo says, some of my Joker action figures' eyes follow me wherever I go in the man cave. Should I be scared? A little bit. Yeah. Even Bill says, be very afraid. Yes. Giraffe says, nice tips. Thank you. I like the scouting tips. Hey, man, it helps. I mean, and that goes for any kind of situation like that, whether you're going to like an arts and heritage festival where they have food. I just, again, look at everything before you make a decision on where you want to start landing. Because I made that mistake. I learned this early in life as a kid. I would go to this one like culture festival that had lots of food and arts and crafts kind of stuff. And the arts and crafts and stuff was cool. Of course, as a kid with disposable income, I was looking for the food. Stuff I wouldn't normally get. The first year that I went, you kind of go in and you buy the food that makes the most sense in the moment. You just grab it. And I come to find out that there were some booths that had food that was similar, and some of them made it better than the others. And it got to, after I'd been to that thing a few times, even just a couple days in a row, you get an idea of which vendors have the better food, and you can just kind of like a beeline for where you want to go. Well, with toy fairs and conventions, you don't have that. You don't have the advantage of it being a multi-day event all the time. So if you only have one day, you have to artificially create that by going around a few times in a few different directions. And that's how it tends to function. So I'm glad I could help. I hope that it bears fruit. I look forward to hearing your report next Monday. Jim Largo says, I'm scared of realizing how much I've spent on Valorverse Action Force Series 3. Ladies, pre-orders dropping soon. Yes, I am terrified of that myself. I'm absolutely terrified of that myself. Quite scared. So it is an entire mood, as the kids say. Something I'm terrified of is NECA snapping up every single decent horror movie license and never letting them go. Oh, wait, that's already happened. With the exception of Universal, which thank goodness that Jada got those. Keith Knight. How's it going, mate? So I got married on Halloween. It's 13 years today. Congratulations, by the way. I have a phobia of the number 13. I am very scared and will be hiding behind the sofa until tomorrow. Well, nothing wrong with hiding behind the sofa. I hope you brought some toys, a charger for your phone or laptop or both, and a lot of alcohol. You'll be fine. You'll get through this. We'll be here together. Aaron Schultz says the last day at a toy fair is the best day for deals. That is correct. They really don't want to carry it back. Now, if this toy fair that Giraffe is going to is one day only, this also applies towards the end of the day. So if it's like a 10 to 5, like 5 p.m. deal, start trolling around 3:30. They're going to start to get looser with their prices because they just don't want to carry it home. If it is a multiple day event, and this is something that it's a kind of intuition that you either have or you don't, but you can kind of learn the skill. You'll hear the way people tend to talk at their booths. I was very straightforward at our Resurrection Toys booth at Retropalooza. I said, look, if I still have toys on Sunday, I'll give you a deal. I said, but don't sleep on these because we don't have that many here. And I had already made back all of my cost of doing business before noon on the first day. So I knew we were going to have a good weekend. So I told people, you can wait if you want to, but it's going to sell out. And we did. So that's a whole thing. Karen Ball says, Keith, in the morning, Halloween will be over, but for Kat, the nightmare will continue. He's not wrong, mate. He's not wrong. You're welcome. It's good to see you, pal. And for those just joining or that maybe have been lurking and haven't seen, I don't mean to patronize. In a scant few minutes, we're going to switch over from this show over to the Resurrection Toys channels. And I do ask, again, we'll be simulcasting on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for Resurrection Toys. But I do ask that before the show begins, if at all possible, you go over to Twitch, create an account, or log into an existing one and click the follow button for Resurrection Toys. This will create a passive revenue stream for us, and I really appreciate it if you would do that. Costs you nothing. We gain some stuff. But again, if you prefer to watch on YouTube or whatever, no problem. Watch wherever you want. But we do ask, if you can, if you're willing to create that account, hit that follow button. It means the world. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post that link right now so you can start thinking about it and making it happen as we start to wind down this show, moving into that one. I do have to switch studios. TV/Resurrection Toys. Yes. Oh, there we go. Brick Something says, folks have told me that if you're a vendor, the setup time before the show starts is another good time to get potential deals and, of course, first access to choice items. That is true. However, depending upon the kind of stock that they carry, they are unless you already know them and know them well, they're not likely to budge on the price. So when it comes to rarity and access, you're absolutely right. But you will not necessarily get the best price. So it just depends upon what's going to work for you in that moment. So, long-lasting Keith Knight. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say. And definitely, as we've said, get ready for the trivia. Rolo procured these questions, and I have a feeling he's going to be really difficult with this stuff. Because if you want to get a few extra tickets in the raffle, you're going to have to work for it. So that's an entire, as I've said before, mood, as the children are so fond of saying. So with that said, I've had a great time coming back after a week of being in absentia on my own channel. I really had a good time, and I look forward to seeing everybody over at Resurrection Toys. Again, please head over to the Twitch channel and drop a follow, even if you can't watch, if you can't stay. It would mean the world to me. So for now, I'm going to sign off for less than 10 minutes. We'll see you over at the Resurrection Toys Twitch channel for our exclusive Halloween special. and trivia contest. Take care in the meantime. I love you guys. See ya in about 9 minutes.